To What's in the Pot. I'm your host Sean Grande, and today we're making Caribbean style stewed fish. It's What's in the Pot. So first we're going to start with some rockfish. Now this is not fresh, it was frozen, I just had to defrost it, so you can use any kind of fish you like. And I'm starting with a teaspoon of ginger. You can use grated ginger, I use the minced ginger. Also I'm going to add about a teaspoon, a little bit less than a teaspoon of black pepper just to add some flavor. And we're going to go with about a tablespoon of the Badia Complete seasoning. And I'm also going to add some of this fish seasoning that I got from Kalu Box. It's fish seasoning, so it has a bunch of different spices. It's got salt, so I'm not really going to add any much salt to the dish. And what we're going to do then is add some green seasoning. This is a green seasoning. Make sure you can use fresh green seasoning if you don't have the blended stuff. If you have the bottled stuff, or you can get the bottled stuff at the store, go ahead and do that. And what we're going to do is marinate the fish with the seasoning, get the seasoning in all the pieces of fish, and marinate in the fridge for at least an hour, overnight even better. After our fish has been marinated, depending on how long you marinate it for, we're going to add our batter. I'm adding a light cornstarch batter. I'm using cornstarch instead of flour. I like the crispness cornstarch gives the fish, but make sure if you're using flour or if you're using cornstarch, you just want to make sure it's a light batter. You don't want to put too much of a batter, because when we fry the fish, we're going to fry it till it's golden brown, but we don't want the pieces of batter breaking off into the stew. I'm going to let the pieces of fish fry approximately 5 minutes on each side. Once you're frying them, and if you flip it, if it breaks apart, it's all good. As long as both sides are golden brown and the fish is not overcooked, you'll be fine. As you can see here, this is my final product. Not a heavy batter, just perfectly golden brown. Now to start our sauce, this is the leftover seasoning from seasoning the fish, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon of ketchup into that. After that, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of soy sauce, and we're going to use the Chief brand browning seasoning. I'm going to add about a teaspoon. You don't want to add too much because it'll make it really dark, and you want to mix that up. That's going to be the start of our sauce, and that's what we're going to do. We're not going to be burning any sugar. We're going to use this to give it a nice stew flavor. Now we're going to start making our sauce. First I'm going to start with some onions, some chives, some cilantro and culantro or shadow benny, and I'm going to let all that saute up, and we're going to let that saute. We're going to let the onions sweat. We're going to let all the flavors come through, and you're going to cook that for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'm using about 2 small sweet peppers. I'm using a yellow one and a red one, and about maybe 5 or 6 cherry tomatoes just chopped in half, and we're gonna let that saute for another 5 to 10 minutes, and we're gonna let all these flavors come together. So after about 10 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and add our sauce that we made with the vegetables, and you want to make sure you get all that seasoning from the sauce. So go ahead and add a little bit of water to the bowl, because we want to get all that seasoning in there. We want to make sure we add all that seasoning into the pot, because we want to let that saute, let that caramelize a little bit, because once the sweetness of the ketchup and the brown and everything hits the pot and starts cooking, it's going to start caramelizing and give it that nice stew flavor. So let that saute for another 5 minutes or so. I decided to let the stew sauce cook for about 10 minutes more. I just wanted all the flavors to kind of come through into the sauce. After about 10 minutes, we're going to add our pieces of fish. Once we add our pieces of fish, we're going to let it saute in the sauce for about 2 minutes on each side. That's all we really want to do. We don't want the fish to get soggy. We still want that crunchiness from the frying, and we still want to just absorb that flavor, and we don't want to overcook the fish. So once you've done that, you're ready to serve. That's my recipe on stewed fish. It's very simple, very easy to use. Remember, this is one of many variations you can do for a Caribbean style stewed fish. Thank you very much for tuning into What's in the Pot. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, hit the like and like our page, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at What's in the Pot. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace.